Okay, we know this by now, but the Clippers are on the brink of elimination following their Game 4 loss to the Suns Saturday night. Paul George clocked 40-plus minutes for the 11th time this postseason, which seems to have taken a toll on him in the fourth quarter, where he went 1 of 7 from the floor and 0 for 2 from 3. He also missed 4 free throws in the fourth and 6 in the game. Those numbers, not good. Shannon, give PG-13 a letter grade, please. Don't laugh.
Well, I'm going to give a grade so low it take a crane to pull it up. What's the lowest grade I can give him? And it's still register. Because whatever that is, that's what he's getting. F. Fuck. Failure.
Okay.
And you know it too, Skip Bayless. You ought to be ashamed of yourself making me do this. All I know is this. The guy that called himself Playoff P, in the game 4, fourth quarter, one possession game, he was 0-6 overall, 0-3 from 3. I don't even want to show you the tape anymore. Hold that tape. I don't even want to see the tape. In the fourth quarter percentage in the series against the Suns, an 89% free throw shooter, shooting 65%. Is that clutch? This is what's going to get you, Skip. I know you didn't know this, but I had to dig deep. Paul George has 11 career playoff games with at least 15 attempts. He's shooting 25% or less. That's the third most in NBA history since they started the playoff 54-55. That's playoff P.
Okay.
That's what he's doing. That game was right there for the taking. You said it. The Suns was choking.
Begging. Take it. Please take this game.
We don't want to take it. Take it. Paul George said no. I got to be me. I got to be the guy that I am, the guy that I've been in the playoffs since. Now, I would concede this. Early on, when Paul George didn't have the pressure, early in his career against Indiana, and he's going against the Heat because they were expected to lose, and he could play free, he was something to behold. He was spectacular. But then he started to build, and then as you build, there comes along something called expectations. He's never been that guy since when he had expectation. Go back and check the tape the 2 years he played with Russ. Take a look at it. Take that last year when he played with alongside Kawhi. Take a look at him right now. The numbers speak for itself. But he gets an F for game 4. And anything less, he's uncivilized.
So it is my turn, and I'm going to give Paul George the same grade that I gave Chris Paul for this game, which is an F-. F-, because Chris Paul is the more decorated player. He is the more highly acclaimed player. Nobody would say that Paul George is better than Chris Paul, would they?
No.
Nobody would say that.
Why are you bringing Chris Paul in this? You give him a grade on his own.
I'm going to give you perspective. I'm going to give you context here, because Chris Paul in this game went 6 of 22. He went 0 of 3 from 3. At least Paul George made 1 3, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Paul was 5 of 20 versus 6 of 22. Actually, Paul had a little better shooting percentage from the floor than Chris Paul did. So I'm going to give them both an F- for this game, just to keep it in perspective, because it was one of those games when nobody did nothing. You can't find me anybody on either team who really played at a high level, except for Ayton's 22 rebounds. But there were so many missed shots, he probably should have had 30 rebounds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least Paul George had 16 rebounds. At least he had 6 assists, and he had a couple of very nice feeds. But in the end, all I care about is that the Clippers, featuring Paul George, missed all 12 of their shots to go ahead or tie in the fourth quarter, which is the worst in 25 years of playoff games in the NBA.
And he took half of those 12.
He took more than half, it seemed like to me, because he just missed until I needed to miss me with that, to the point where I told you again, I tweeted in the middle of that upchuck by the Clippers. I tweeted, "I'm sorry, but my man Paul George is choking his guts out." On Saturday night, his guts were made of tissue paper, not iron. Tissue paper. And he can't play any worse. He can't choke anymore.
Yeah, he can. I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it. Yeah, you should go back and ask Russell Westbrook about how he did Russ in Game 5 in Utah. When he had 5 points in that ball game, so he absolutely can play worse.
Well,
but what I'm not going to let you do is bring Chris Paul into this. Chris Paul, they say, what was the grade on Paul George? See, you that
F-.
No.
Both.
This is all about Paul. That'll be Chris Paul. This is all about Paul George.
Co-signing on
No,
this.
I don't need you to co-sign. See, you that type of guy. You know what, Skip Bayless? You the type of guy. Somebody else does something, and everybody else got to get punished for it. No. No. I used to hate when the coach said such and such jumped outside, run a lap. Why I got to run because he dumb and he don't remember the snap count? No, this is about Paul George getting the F because he deserved it, and you know it.
There's one game left, and it's tonight, and I'll take 5.5 right now for 5 cases.
I'll see. Let me think about it.
Yeah, you
No
had
guts,
all
no
show.
glory.
I'm thinking about it.
Yep.
What are you still
You
thinking
ridicule
about?
Paul George, but you won't bet against him because you know and I know it's still out there.
Because what happens, Skip, they'll get like a 12-point lead, and then you guys make a few baskets and then get it down. But you're going home. Going home.
Okay, fine. All right. You're not going to bet on it? I can't.
Not yet. Not yet, Jenny. Not yet.
Not yet. All right. We got a couple more minutes here. You think on it. And this should be interesting, and I'm curious your thoughts. Did Brady just change LeBron's mind about the GOAT conversation? Don't go anywhere. You got Clippers are on the brink of elimination following their Game 4 loss to the Suns Saturday night. But Ty Lue is optimistic that his team can bounce back from the 3-1 series deficit, saying, quote, "It's very doable." Chris Broussard is still with us. Now, Chris, I know you said that the Suns were poised in the win, but who you got who wins Game 5?
I'm with Shannon. I think Phoenix closes them out tonight. My original pick was Suns in 7, but I think they go ahead and get rid of them tonight and put the Clippers out of their misery. A lot of it, look, I think that Paul George is worn out. I think he's spent, both emotionally and physically. I think he's spent emotionally. Paul George did not sign up for this. He didn't sign up for the pressure of being the man and carrying a team night in and night out. Now, look, I know last segment he was getting ripped to shreds, but he's been pretty good these playoffs. I mean, I think he's actually helped himself in these playoffs more than hurt himself. I'm talking about overall, 26 points, almost 10 rebounds, almost 6 assists a game, leading the Clippers in rebounds and assists. But he didn't sign, he's what we thought he was. He's a second guy at best on a championship team. If he has to be your best player, then there's a cap to how far you're going, and that cap is the conference finals. And so now he's their best player, and he didn't sign up for this. The pressure of every night being scrutinized. Every night you have to deliver. Every night you got to make the free throws. He was content being Russ's Robin in Oklahoma City. He was content coming here to be Kawhi's Robin with the Clippers. Now all of a sudden he's got to be Batman? And look at his, and he's played 41 minutes a night. He's played by far more minutes than anyone else in the playoffs. So I'll give him credit for that, but that's why I think he's spent. And his field goal percentage is going down further and further by the game. Game 2, 43%. Game 3, 35%. Game 4, 25%. I mean, so I don't know what he's going to shoot tonight.
10.
But I think the Clippers are done. Now, that might be good news for Clippers fans because I've been wrong on them this whole postseason. But I do think Phoenix closes them out tonight.
Close the door. That Teddy Pendergrass song, you remember that song, Chris? We were growing up, Teddy says, close the door. He said, I want you to be looking for.
That.
Skip Bayless. Ty Lue is right if he had LeBron, if he had Kyrie. If he had Kawhi, he wouldn't even be in this situation. I believe if he had Kawhi, he might be 3 up. Because I do not believe the Suns are beating the Clippers without Chris Paul twice if Kawhi's in the lineup for the Clippers. So I will concede that, but he's not there. Welcome to the club. Where you don't have your big guns. I feel very comfortable saying, had we been healthy, Lakers going to the finals. You feel that way too, huh, Chris? But anyway, back to our originally scheduled programming. See, the one thing that Ty Lue failed to mention, that in that Game 5, LeBron had 41, 16, and 7. And Kyrie went for 41, 3, and 6. And in Game 6, LeBron went for 41, 8, and 11. Now, I want you to tell me who on this team for the Clippers, what 2 players are capable of giving you 82 points? Oh, that means, okay, I'll continue on then. So
is it my turn?
No, it's not your turn.
Okay.
So, doable. Skip, anything put man on the moon. Anything possible. We came out with a vaccine for COVID in less time than any virus that we've ever created, that's ever been created. So anything's possible. But let's talk about likely. Let's talk about probability, because that's what we like. We analytics guys up here, Chris. We do analytics. What's the probability of it happening? You ain't gonna put no money on it. You won't bet a thing. Not one single case will do.
I'll take 5.5 right now. I'll take 5.5 points. That's what Fox Bet says it is. I'll take 5.5 for 5 cases. Going once, twice, no guts, no glory.
Maybe by the end, maybe by the end of the show.
So they are done. But you won't give me the 5.5 that Vegas and Fox Bet says this game is.
I give you 5 because I won't no half.
I'm 5.5.
No, Skip.
5.5. This is what it is.
Skip, you can't get
you
no
either
half.
take the spread or you don't take it.
How do you get half a point?
You can't walk up to the betting window in Vegas and say, give me 5 instead of 5.5.
Oh, you the betting winner now, so now you the house again, huh?
Okay, now it's my turn. You guys are almost certainly right about everything you just said. Obviously, these Clippers have played from the bottom of a sinkhole throughout this playoffs, and they were the first team ever to come from 0-2 down in consecutive playoff series.